Friend, beloved God, Lord Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Lahiri Mahashaya, Swami Shri Yukteswar, and our beloved Guru, Paramahansa Yogananda, friend and guide, Swamiji, saints of all religions, we humbly bow at thy feet. Divine Mother, we are thy children. We yearn to know you. Bring us home to thee in this very lifetime. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Amen. Now we'll have a song of Swamiji's. Listen to God, God, God.
From the depths of slumber as I ascend the spiral stairways of wakefulness, I will whisper, whisper, God, God, God. Thou art the food, and when I break my fast of nightly separation from thee, I will taste thee and mentally say, God, God, God. No matter where I go, the spotlight of my mind will ever keep turning on thee, and in the battle din of activity, my silent war cry will be, God, God, God. When boisterous storms of trial shriek, and when worries howl at me, I will drown their noises loudly chanting, God, God, God. When my mind weaves dreams, dreams, with threads of memories, on that magic cloth will I emboss, God, God, God. Every night in time of deepest sleep, when my peace dreams and calls, joy, joy, my joy comes singing evermore. God, God, God. In waking, eating, working, dreaming, sleeping, serving, meditating, chanting, divinely loving, my soul will constantly hum, unheard by any. God, God, God.
And now let's meditate together. Inhale and tense the body. Vibrate every muscle. Fill your body with light. Exhale and relax. Again. Vibrate. Relax. And one more time. Completely consciously let go. Still the restless mind. Calm the heart. Focus at the point between the eyebrows and concentrate there. Visualize the Guru's eyes there at the point between the eyebrows. Visualize the Guru, his beautiful face, in a sphere of radiant light at the point between the eyebrows. If your mind wanders, come back to his beautiful smile, his compassionate eyes at the point between the eyebrows. Come back 1,000 times if you have to, but always return to the Guru in the spiritual eye. We'll meditate for about 5 minutes, filling ourselves with that radiant love of the Guru pouring through his eyes into every cell of our being, into our soul, uniting us with Divine Mother. I'd like to begin by reading from Whispers from Eternity, book of prayers and poems by Paramahansa Yogananda. Flood me with thy omnipresent love. O fountain of love, flood the lowlands of our love for home and family with thy omnipresent love. O mighty source of all outrivers of desire, teach us not to cut ourselves off from thee, hunting on dry sands of sense satisfaction. Love in our souls, love is our soul's birthright. We demand now that all the rivers of our cravings be redirected through valleys of humility, eager self-sacrifice, and concern for others, until, reinforced by thy torrential blessings, they merge in the ocean of all fulfillment in thee. Bless us, that the rivulets of our sympathy, affection, and love lose not themselves in the sands of dreary selfishness. Let the little, lonely, separately moving streamlets of our love, which come from thee, merge at last in the vastness of thy perfect love. Well, it's wonderful to be here with everybody this morning at our Sunday Satsang. I wanted to begin by just talking about Master and why he came when he did. Sometimes we tend to think of our Master and our Guru as divorced and separate from our everyday lives, from what this world is going through, from the tragedies that are happening. He's above and beyond it all, and just sending blessings from afar. But Master incarnated into this century that was very turbulent, and he knew when he came that his purpose was to spread light and love and compassion and help us through these challenging times. He came, he witnessed the First World War, he witnessed the Second World War, he was here for the liberation of India from the tyranny of British rule. He was with us during the Great Depression in America in the 30s. So many more world events that were really catastrophic in people's lives. This is when Master came. He didn't wait until it was perfect, and he didn't wait until he could float down with the band of angels and just chant Om Guru. He was with us. He lived it. He was in the world, but he was not of it. And he loved us so much that he sacrificed a great amount of ecstasy to come down into this body to help us so that we too could experience that same ecstasy that he had. That's all he cared about. That's all the Guru wants, is our freedom. From the delusion of thinking that we are these little bodies, that we are these lives that we lived in challenging times. He wanted us to know that we were so much more than that. During the Second World War, he received a couple letters from people that were experiencing great suffering in Europe. And I wanted to read a couple of these letters. And these letters were written to Master when he was at Mount Washington. And he shared them with us in the autobiography of a yogi. And this is what Master said. The shadows of approaching carnage were lengthening over the world. Already the acute ear might hear the frightful drums of war. During interviews with thousands in California and through a worldwide correspondence, I found that men and women were deeply searching their hearts. The tragic outer insecurity had emphasized need for the eternal anchorage. And this is the letter that a devotee wrote to Swami, to Master. We have indeed learned the value of meditation. The leader of the London Self-Realization Fellowship Center wrote me in 1941, which was in the middle of the war. And know that nothing can disturb our inner peace. In the last few weeks, during the meetings, we have heard air raid warnings and listened to the explosion of delayed action bombs. But our students still gather and thoroughly enjoy our beautiful service. And another letter. Another letter reached me from war-torn England just before America entered the conflict. In nobly pathetic words, Dr. Bing, noted editor of the Wisdom of the East series, wrote, Dear Master, when I read East-West, I realized how far apart we seem to be, apparently living in two different worlds. Beauty, order, calm, and peace came to me from Los Angeles, sailing into port as a vessel laden with the blessings and comfort of the Holy Grail to a beleaguered city. I see as in a dream your palm tree grove and the temple at Encinitas with its ocean stretches and mountain views, and above all, its fellowship of spiritually minded men and women, a community comprehended in unity, absorbed in creative work, and replenished in contemplation. It is a world of my own vision, in the making of which I hoped to bear my little part. And now, perhaps in the body, I shall never reach your golden shores, nor worship in your temple, but it is something and more to have had the vision and know that in the midst of war, there is still a peace that abides in your harbors and among your hills. Greetings to all the fellowship from a common soldier, written on the watchtower, waiting for the dawn. And that's always touched me, these two letters, and what Master brought to the world and his timing. These letters touched me because these are souls that their story was not one of perfect harmony and bliss and living in a wonderful place with flowers blooming and everything perfect and meditation every day. I mean, they were listening to bombs dropping, watching their families and relatives and friends being killed, starving in England at that time. But Master had touched their hearts. They recognized through all of this suffering and chaos that they were born into, that their karma was being worked out in this way. They recognized the Guru, and the Guru took care of them through the peace in their hearts. And what Master did was extraordinary, because he didn't just hang out with the saints. He came to help us to become saints through whatever karma that we had to work out in this lifetime. And wherever we find ourselves during these times, this is going to be a very calamitous time also. This is not going to end with the coronavirus disappearing and everything going back to normal. Master's predicted some grave situations for us, but Master also gave us himself. Master also gave us all of the gurus. Master is blessing us every step of the way, just as he did during the Second World War, just as he did during the Indian Revolution, just as he did during the Depression. He's here with us. And to the extent that we can draw him, draw his blessings, draw his grace into our lives, we will have fulfilled our purpose in this life, because we will have sought God. And the only purpose for living is to find God. And Master has brought us the way to do that. The other day I was meditating, just recently, and I was feeling very sad. I just thought, oh my goodness, I just had a wave of sadness, feeling the desperation of especially the people in America and the people in Africa who don't have food, who are losing their jobs, who are desperate for finding a way to live, so that they can just support their families and get back to normal. The illnesses, the thousands of people that are losing their lives, but also their families and their friends and their co-workers that are losing them. I just felt a wave of sadness. And I thought, Master, why? Why do these good people, they're not evil people, they're just like us, trying to make it through, and they just don't know what to do. And they don't know where to turn. They're looking outside of themselves for their sustenance. And they just don't know, and I felt so sad. And I just prayed to Master. I said, how can we help all these people? It doesn't seem possible. It doesn't seem possible that these people that are really going through it, wondering about their children's futures, wondering about if they're going to get sick. And Master answered my prayer. Master answered my prayer. And he put a very strong thought in my mind, because I was praying very deeply. And he said, look to the chapter of an experience in cosmic consciousness. And I thought, well, okay. Because oftentimes I turn to the autobiography of a yogi when I'm needing guidance and I'm needing help. I'll pray and I'll open the book, and there will be my support and my solace and my answer. But this time I got a thought in my mind: turn to an experience in cosmic consciousness, in which I did. And I wanted to share with you how this helped me so much, how it helped me to see what was really happening. And just as in the book, you know that Master was meditating, and he wasn't really meditating, and from a lower balcony, Sri Yukteswar called to him, Yogananda, and he just said, I'm meditating, and he wouldn't come. And he just said, he knows I'm meditating, and I'm not going to be disturbed. And then Sri Yukteswar calls him again, Yogananda, and he said, Master, I'm meditating. And so then Sri Yukteswar said, I know how you're meditating. Like, your mind is as restless as leaves in the wind. You need, he was saying, you need to come here. And so finally Master said, okay. I mean, you can imagine this sweet exchange between the guru and the disciple resisting just like we do. And he said, okay, I'll come. And then Master just touched him on the heart chakra, and he went into cosmic consciousness. And I want to read. I read the whole chapter because it had come to me so strongly in meditation. I read the whole chapter very slowly. Each sentence I read, and I felt like what that must feel like. I tried to go behind the words to feel the vibration that Master was bringing to this experience in cosmic consciousness through Master, Sri Yukteswar, through Master. Divine Mother was giving us this experience that Master actually wrote down in this book. How do you bring something that is unexplainable in words into the physical plane through words? It's almost impossible. But when I meditated on each line, then I could feel the vibration of, oh, this is what it is. This is who we are. We are not the suffering. We are not this world. We are not this physical body. We are not the troubles. We are not this catastrophe. We are what Master explained to us in this chapter. We are cosmic consciousness. And so, first of all, he says, my body became immovably rooted. Breath was drawn out of my lungs as if by some huge magnet. Now, as I read this, and you go back and maybe tonight or the next couple days read this chapter, imagine what that would be like. A huge magnet just drawing the air out of your lungs. What would that feel like? Soul and mind instantly lost their physical bondage and streamed out like a fluid, piercing light from every pore. The flesh was as though dead, yet in my intense awareness I knew that never before had I been fully alive. My sense of identity was no longer narrowly confined to a body, but embraced the circumambient atoms. People on distant streets seemed to be moving gently over my own remote periphery. I discerned the inward flow of the sap of the trees. Imagine yourself, not just reading it as an experience that Master had, but feeling your body is dead in deep meditation and soaring, your soul, the essence of who you are, your true reality becoming manifest, and you knowing beyond a shadow of a doubt that you are not this body, that you are not in this world, you're in it, your soul is confined in it, but you are not that. You are so much more. Just imagine. Master said imagination is one of our greatest spiritual tools. So when you read this, feel yourself leaving your body. Feel yourself melting into the light, because that's who we really are. And then he says, an oceanic joy broke upon calm, endless shores of my soul. The Spirit of God, I realized, is exhaustless bliss. His body is countless tissues of light. I cognize the center of the Imperium as a point of intuitive perception in my own heart. This is our reality. We cognize, we understand, will understand through deep meditation that this experience is what is reality. And we'll know that in our hearts. We'll know it beyond a shadow of a doubt. It's our intuitive perception in our own hearts. This is where we understand reality, in our hearts. This is where wisdom, the soul, the intuition of the wisdom, Master said intuition is the soul's power to know God. These are the things that Master brought us, so that we don't get bogged down with the drama of this world. And when I read this, I thought, of course, this is who we are. And to the extent that I can individually, and each one of us individually, can feel, truly feel that we are a part of God, then we can help. We can't help if we get down into the mud. We can't help if we read the news 24 hours a day and get sadder and sadder. We can't help if of course we have compassion. Why? Because we know on a very deep level of our being that we are one with everybody, that all souls are connected in God. But it's up to us to keep the presence of God vibrant in our consciousness so that we don't identify with the sadness, with the tragedy that's happening in the world. We must keep God present in our consciousness. We must try. And this is what a devotee and a disciple of Master, this is our dharma. That's the truest dharma. Yes, we're mothers. Yes, we're fathers. Yes, we're workers. Yes, we serve the work. Yes, we're teachers. Yes, whatever form it takes. But none of it makes any difference unless we have God in our hearts. And we have that intuitive perception that we are part of something so much bigger. Then, when we operate in this world, when we serve in this world, we bring that spark of light with us. We are the ones, we are the instruments through which God will work. We bring that spark of unconditional love. This is what people need. They don't need us to bemoan and worry and talk and just say, oh, poor baby. What we need to do is, yes, listen, because all of these things people are experiencing, but then we bring light into the situation and we ask God to bless each soul that God brings to us, even to our mind. God will bring souls to our mind. Ask Master to bless this soul and give him what he needs to get through what he's going through right now. Then we begin to realize that this little body that our soul is confined in is nothing. And I believe that's why Master told me to read this chapter on the experiencing cosmic consciousness, because we forget who we are and the power that we have to bring love into this world. We forget because we get caught. Of course we get caught. We're not there yet. We don't have nirvikalpa samadhi, where we are in bliss 24 hours a day, but also working in this world and bringing that bliss into the world. We're working on it. And this is what Master says. He says, saints who realize their divinity, even while in the flesh, know a similar twofold existence. Conscientiously engaging in earthly work, they yet remain immersed in an inward beatitude. The Lord has created all men from the limitless joy of his being. Though they are painfully cramped by the body, God nevertheless expects that souls made in his image shall ultimately rise above all sense identifications and reunite with him. The cosmic vision left many permanent lessons. By daily stilling my thoughts, I could win release from the delusive conviction that my body was a mass of flesh and bones traversing the hard soil of matter. The breath and the restless mind I saw were like storms which lashed the ocean of light into waves of material forms. Earth, sky, human beings, animals, birds, and trees. No perception of the infinite as one light could be had except by calming those storms. And so you see, what has Master given us? He has given us the tools and the techniques to calm those storms of that restless wind, the breath, the mind, calming the mind, stilling those thoughts. He has given us Kriya Yoga to purify our spines, to purify our chakras and this past karma, these desires and actions and thoughts that we have that keep us from realizing that intuitive perception of God in our own hearts. So that's what we're trying to do through Kriya Yoga. We're trying to purify, to cleanse our minds and our hearts from all past karma so that we can be free to meditate deeply on God. And that's why after you practice your Kriya, it's very important to sit for a very long time in meditation, not just sitting, but concentrating here at the point between the eyebrows, visualizing the light, visualizing Master's loving eyes, gazing at us, giving him our karma, giving him our past actions, giving him our love. For a long time, we just want to bathe in that light. And then what happens, just like Sri Yukteswar says, the soul is like a little bird in a cage. You open the door and it hops out. And then you experience, just as the little bird experiences its freedom, this feeling of not being in the cage, hops back in really quickly. That's what we do in meditation. We practice Kriya Yoga. We sit for a long time. We just begin to get glimpses of the light, hear the sound of the Om, just glimpses of calmness and maybe a peace, a deep peace, glimpses of love in our heart. And then we come back again and our meditation is over. But through longer and longer and longer excursions outside of that cage, that little bird, once it feels the courage and the strength, the inner strength, and the knowledge that I am free, I can fly, I can be free. I can leave this cage and I never have to come back. I can melt into the atmosphere and swim with and fly with the other birds and swim with them in ecstasy and freedom. That's our soul. Our soul will just one day take off, and you get deeper and deeper meditations, longer and longer, and the soul then just switches over and identifies with God, identifies with the light, becomes one with unconditional love that holds the universe together, and the body will seem as dead, as Master said in Cosmic Consciousness in that chapter. The body will be like, I was here for a little while, but I, the cosmic sea, I am part of that. And your soul begins to recognize who it really is, who we really are. So don't get discouraged in your meditations. Even a little bit of this inward religion will free you. Babaji says, dire fears and colossal sufferings, they'll melt away. You won't even think about them anymore. This was just a time, a point in time where we had to experience these things in our lives for whatever reason, working out our karma. We're here. We must have done something to earn it. And then you begin to realize, wow, that I am omnipresent. I am in God. I am His child. He will never, ever let you go. Divine Mother, we are her children. How can it be? It says in this chapter, God expects us to come home. What we have to do is expect it too. That's what's lacking. He says, my blessings are there, God's blessings are there, your blessings are lacking. When the disciple asked him, how come he can't get he can't grow because he's not a master? I need your blessings, Master. We need to expect it. That's all. We need to expect a miracle. We need to expect that we will achieve self-realization in this lifetime. And then, with each meditation is precious, whether you receive Nirvikalpa Samadhi or not. It doesn't really matter if you don't receive the blessings that you feel you deserve. What matters is that you are opening your heart and telling Divine Mother and telling the Guru, I'm ready now. I want to come out of the cage. Please, please keep the door open. Every meditation, just think of your soul as in this body and pray, I want to be free. I want to experience you, God. I want to come home. We are coming home. We are already home. That's the funny part of it that we don't understand yet, but we're there. We've just identified with this world too much. And so I wanted to share that with you because it really helped me. It helped me to see that I can't really help somebody unless I help myself, unless I change myself first, unless I try to deepen my meditations. And then every little blessing that we get in meditation can be shared. And then when you sit for the next meditation, you'll feel your heart more expanded. If you can find ways to help, pray for people. Pray, pray, pray. Because the world needs it now. And that's really who we are. Pray for our fellow Guru Bhais, our disciples that are trying so hard. We're all trying so hard. I heard, this kind of made me sad too, but there are people in our congregation, in our spiritual family here in Bangalore, that are working 12 and 14 hours a day in this lockdown. That's incredible. And I'm sure it's not just the few that I heard from, but it's probably happening all over. And then you have your families. You have no place to get away. You have your children and your relatives, and then you have other responsibilities. And you have to keep food on the table, and there's a lot of things going on. I wanted to just say, don't worry and get down on yourself that you're not meditating enough. Don't worry about it. Because remember, all of these things God has given to us, and He knows exactly what you need when you need it. So when you wake up in the morning, the first thought should be scan your day and say, when can I meditate? Is it at noon? Is it right now when I wake up? Is it when everybody goes to bed? Is there a time when everybody's going to be gone and then I can sneak in a little meditation? All those meditations add up. Every single spiritual effort adds up. Master said no spiritual effort is ever, ever ignored. And everything in the future will improve if we make that effort now. Make that effort. And you'll see that soon more doors are opening up during the day for you to meditate because your soul is starting to identify. Even that little hop of the bird outside of the cage, that counts. And then there'll be another one and another one. There'll be a string of beads on your mala. And pretty soon you'll be doing 108 Kriyas. And pretty soon you'll be going deep into meditation. God will provide the time. You have to expect it. That's what's lacking, is just the expectation. So don't get discouraged. Also, Master said, read the poem Samadhi every day. And I read it this time because it's at the end of this chapter, Cosmic and Experiencing Cosmic Consciousness. I read it very slowly, and I meditated on the lines, and I meditated on the words. And by the end of it, I thought, wow, that's who I am. This is Samadhi. This is happening right now. Master wrote this because he wanted us to know what we are and what we have to look forward to. So even if you can't memorize it, I think sometimes when people say, Master said to memorize Samadhi and read it and say it every day, that's a little daunting, and it's a long poem, and maybe if you don't have a mind for it, but read it. You can even read a line a day. Have it by your bedside. Get a copy of it. Maybe Harish or Shriyam can send a copy of Samadhi out to everybody after this satsang. Have it by your bed. And not just reading it as an experience of Master, but reading it from your soul and understanding that that is your true reality. A tiny bubble of laughter has become the sea of mirth itself. A tiny bubble of laughter, that's us, has become the sea of mirth. Cosmic consciousness has melted into God. We've gone home to Divine Mother. The children have gone home. We are a child of God. Expect it. So just read it line by line and feel what that feels like in your meditation. And then you will know beyond a shadow of a doubt that this too shall pass, this time shall pass, this world shall pass, the world will go on and on, but we will be free in God if we cling to the Guru, we read his teachings, we take it to heart, we meditate, and we try to feel that we are omnipresent. We are. Even a little bit of this inner religion, even a little. So don't give up and don't get discouraged. And if you get sad, read this chapter. And it will remind you that all we have to do is remember. That's all. That's what self-realization is, the knowing in all parts of our bodies and our minds, our souls, our lives, and all parts of everything, that we are children of God. All we have to do is increase our knowing, and through deep meditation, remember that we are part of the infinite love of Divine Mother. So God bless you all. And I'd like to close today by Haridas doing the affirmation. Together, we're going to say the affirmation that worldwide, we're all saying it together. This wonderful meditation, affirmation of light. Okay. And so let's sit up straight, close our eyes, and with deep concentration and from our hearts, let's affirm together.
God's light is within me and around me.
God's light is within me and around me.
With the sword of faith in my hand.
With the sword of faith in my hand.
With the love of God in my heart.
With the love of God in my heart.
I am a warrior of light.
I am a warrior of light.
I join my brothers and sisters everywhere.
I join my brothers and sisters everywhere.
To overcome fear with faith.
To overcome fear with faith.
Hatred with love.
Hatred with love.
And disease with health.
And disease with health.
Let us fill the world with God's light.
Let us fill the world with God's light.
And a little quieter. God's light is within me and around me.
God's light is within me and around me.
With the sword of faith in my hand.
With the sword of faith in my hand.
With the love of God in my heart.
With the love of God in my heart.
I am a warrior of light.
I am a warrior of light.
I join my brothers and sisters everywhere.
I join my brothers and sisters everywhere.
To overcome fear with faith.
To overcome fear with faith.
Hatred with love.
Hatred with love.
And disease with health.
And disease with health.
Let us fill the world with God's light.
Let us fill the world with God's light.
And now whispering, God's light is within me and around me.
God's light is within me and around me.
With the sword of faith in my hand.
With the sword of faith in my hand.
With the love of God in my heart.
With the love of God in my heart.
I am a warrior of light.
I am a warrior of light.
I join my brothers and sisters everywhere.
I join my brothers and sisters everywhere.
To overcome fear with faith.
To overcome fear with faith.
Hatred with love.
Hatred with love.
And disease with health.
And disease with health.
Let us fill the world with God's light.
Let us fill the world with God's light.
And now silently, superconsciously, God's light is within me and around me. With the sword of faith in my hand. With the love of God in my heart. I am a warrior of light. I join my brothers and sisters everywhere. To overcome fear with faith. Hatred with love. And disease with health. Let us fill the world with God's light. Now let's close with healing prayers. Draw to mind those you'd like to pray for and bathe in light. Sending blessings to disciples here in Bangalore, throughout India and the world. The loved ones, co-workers, those on our healing prayer lists, all souls in special need during this time of trial. See all bathed in harmony, health, joy, and love. See the gurus surrounding the planet with upraised hands, sending wave after wave of light and healing power. Let's rub our hands together and send waves of light and Om to all souls.
And now we'd like to close by listening to a song of Swamiji's. It's called Dare to be Different. And as we listen to this song, really take the words to heart. Dare to be different, dare to be free, dare to fly high like wind on the breeze. So just imagine yourself having the courage and daring to be the spiritual being that you are in this world. So we'll listen to this song now.
Dare to be different, dare to be free, dare to roam far like wind on the sea. Fly like a god, soar high on the air. Be strong in your courage when others despair. Never in anger, never in haste. Go without pride, be never ever abased. Freedom is yours if freedom you give. To all give it freely, in freedom you live. Mountains that stand up tall to the sky tell us no dreaming is ever too high. Dare to defy them, brave that high peak. You'll never know failure if victory you seek. Dare to be different, dare to be free. Dare to roam far like wind on the sea. Fly like a gull, soar high on the air. Be strong in your courage when others despair.
God bless you all. Thank you for sharing the satsang with us today.